I've played a
Good review so far.
but before I talk about it, I just need to start with a small apology. I mean, to everyone really, to myself, but to Nintendo for my expletive-riddled rant about Pokémon Legends Z-A.
Did you buy it? Did you buy it, Jonathan?
Well, I'm still not thrilled with the structure of the content rollout that they've established. It caused me a lot of ire last month. I have actually now discovered a few key points that I didn't get quite right. Firstly, the day one DLC. Yes, the DLC is available to buy on day one, but the content is actual post-game content and won't be released until next year.
Right.
There's a couple of immediate cosmetic items you get if you buy the DLC now, but it's essentially no different to a season pass DLC that they've done for other Pokemon games, and obviously loads of other games have done. Secondly, something I accused them of is the way that Mega Stones were being distributed in the online-only events. I've been led to believe that the only way to get the Mega Stones to Mega Evolve your starter Pokemon were locked behind this. Not the case. You get those in the game. As it stands, the way that it's working is that every season of the ranked battles, there will be a specific Megastone that you can get. The seasons only last a few weeks at a time, and then it will change to a different stone, which basically means they'll be like introducing a new Mega Evolution every month or so. You don't actually have to do that much in the ranked battles to get that reward either, so I can't gripe too much about that. And it's only the one Mega Stone that's restricted to the ranked battle seasons. All the others are available in the game itself. And, it'll be a nice little sort of content rollout over the next few weeks as they, add in more. So I'd like to be able to say that after I learned of these caveats, I was able to renege on my declaration and procure a copy. The honest truth is that I found out about these caveats because I'm a weak little Pokemaniac who had already reneged on my beliefs to get the game on day one. And I've been playing it like a little weenie and having such a good time that I also bought the DLC almost immediately.
Can I just add a little peek behind the curtain here? On the day of release, I received a message from you quite early in the morning, and the way my phone works, others might be the same, it said image, and I was like, without even opening this message, I am going to guess that image is of an order receipt to either collect or have delivered Pokemon today. Shall I reveal what it was?
And what did the comments say?
Something about being a weak little boy.
That's it. But hey, at least I'm honest.
Yeah.
A second little apology to Emlyn for swearing in the middle of my Poke Rant last episode too. Sorry about that. I don't think a lot of people were expecting this game to be the continuation of the new Legends spin-off series that started with Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was fantastic. It's a semi-open world adventure set hundreds of years before the known Pokemon timeline in a vast and wilderness, vastipede. I was personally expecting something similar, but set in an ancient version of a different Pokemon land. I was hoping for something set in the world of Pokemon Gold and Silver, exploring the origins and myths of the legendary Pokemon from those games. But instead, what we've got is a hypermodern, tech-laden tale set in the capital city of Kalos, which is the main city in Pokemon X and Y, and the story in Pokemon Legends Z-A is basically serves as a direct sequel to Pokemon X and Y. It picks up that story 5 years on from where it left off in this French-inspired land, and it's quite nice actually, because usually with the Pokemon games you get the two games that come out. Obviously, the two slightly different versions with different Pokemon in each, and occasionally little story things different to encourage you to trade. And then a year or so on, you'll get a third pillar version of the game, which will have, sort of some big new mechanic in it, and probably some like post-gamey sort of stuff. So like you had Pokemon Yellow for Pokemon Red and Blue, and you had Pokemon Crystal for Gold and Silver. You had Emerald for Ruby and Sapphire, and etc. etc. Pokemon X and Y, they never got a third pillar game or DLC serving as a bit of a sequel or a continuation. So it's sort of like we finally got that. So the game is set entirely in Lumiose City, which is an analogue of Paris, complete with a towering faux Eiffel Tower at its centre. Little Parisian waterways running around, the cafes and boutiques. It's all very lovely. And obviously, because this game is only in this one location, it allows the game to pack the city with a lot of content and details that obviously were never possible on the 3DS. The downside of this is that there is a considerable lack of variety in this game, even though there are like wild zones packed with all manner of Pokemon, dotted around the city. There's a day-night cycle that brings a lot of variety to the activity and the wildlife in the city. There's a whole plane of exploration across the rooftops of the city, which is really, really cool. But there's no escaping the fact that you don't get to cross oceans or climb mountains or descend into caves or volcanoes and encounter legendary Pokemon akin to actual gods. Nora enjoyed watching me play quite a lot. She said at one point, "Oh, can you go to a different city?" Nope. No, I cannot. But the gameplay loop is really good. It's really addictive. It kept me entertained even without that level of variety. But it's still a strange choice of setup and locale and theme and story for a Pokemon Legends game, because in many ways this feels like what I would expect the next mainline Pokemon game to feel like, not something that warrants being set as a spin-off side series. Having said that, the game does do a fair things. I'm not used to talking this much.
No.
I'm used to listening. Having said that, the game does do a fair few things that are new to the series. The first and most important thing being having fully real-time battles for the first time in a Pokemon game like this, allowing for a much more immediate, quick, and interactive experience. Instead of having your 4 moves to choose from in a menu, they're mapped to the A, B, X, and Y buttons, replacing the idea of PP, or it's like equivalent to magic in another RPG, to limit your usage of the moves. Moves now instead have a different length cooldown timers, so the stronger moves take longer to cool down. It's a very natural and organic shift that works, honestly, brilliantly. It lends a whole new type of strategizing to your battles. Mega Evolution itself is just as fun as it was when we first got it. It felt like the first and still best gimmick, to have Super Pokemon, which is basically when Pokemon started getting a little bit stale, they were like, right, what more can we do? When they needed to start sort of, spicing things up, instead of just adding 100 new Pokemon to a game, they started adding in gimmicks. So in X and Y, you've got the Mega Evolutions, which are further evolutions of classic Pokemon, which are crazy, outlandish, and really fun designs, and a healthy dose of added power. Absolutely wonderful. The gimmicks then started getting a bit ridiculous. You started getting, you got Z moves then in Sun and Moon, which were basically like Mega Evolution special moves. We didn't need giant Pokemon in Sword and Shield. We didn't need Pokemon with crystal hats in Scarlet and Violet.
Are you sure?
I'm very, very sure, Chris. And now there's a ton of brand new Mega Evolutions in this game, which are all just great fun. They're always surprising and delightful and silly and creative, and I love them. I managed to avoid a lot of spoilers. I didn't know what were in the game. I didn't see, most of the designs, so it was always quite a treat when you encounter them. These battles that you do with the Mega Pokemon that are going rogue around Lumiose City, they feel like proper boss battles, big AoE attacks that you need to observe and avoid, proper phases, like proper bosses. And, the only real way of countering the strength of the Mega Pokemon is to Mega Evolve your own Pokemon. And so you need to hunt down Mega Stones for specific Pokemon, catch their counterpart, or evolve them, to allow you to fight fire with fire, so to speak. It's great. It's chaotic. It's just really, really fun. And it's definitely the most engaging Pokemon battles the series has ever had by a long way. Apart from maybe Pokken Tournament, which actually was brilliant, but no one played it.
No one.
I mentioned the day-night cycle, and the way that this is implemented is quite cool because it sort of dictates the gameplay loop. In the daytime, there aren't trainers roaming around looking to battle you, so you're sort of free to explore and investigate side quests, explore the wild areas to catch Pokemon, progress some of the main story, drink coffee in the cafes,
Lovely.
buy some clothes to dress up. And then when night falls, there'll be sections of the city cordoned off as battle zones. And then you have all night to fight trainers to earn points, to make money, level up your Pokemon, and crucially, level up your ranking in the Pokemon Z-A Royale. You start at rank Z,
Yeah.
and every time you want to ascend to a new rank, you have to fight enough trainers to get enough points, and then you'll be selected to do a special opponent to then rise to the next rank. Almost like it felt very much like sort of gym leaders in the normal Pokemon games.
Yeah.
You start at rank Z, and you have to. That's right. Go from Z to A.
I see what they did there.
Yeah. Although strangely, and I guess this is maybe a bit of a spoiler, there's a story event that sees you skip 17 levels at once, which felt like a weird choice.
Lazy.
But then also, yes, maybe, but also the prospect of doing that loop 26 times was actually a bit unpleasant and would have probably become stale if you weren't progressing quickly enough. I think they probably came up with the idea of Z to A, liked the fact that that was cool, and then thought differently about it halfway through. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because it's fun. In between the general battling, leveling, catching, and evolving, there's all still it's all still a brilliantly addictive setup. The normal sort of Pokemon stuff. There's also this overarching story, which I think is probably the most I've enjoyed a storyline in a Pokemon game.
Wow.
It's not saying much because reflecting on it, actually, Pokemon X and Y is the only one in a mainline Pokemon game I think I actively enjoyed. It's certainly the only one I can remember. And it was nice then to see a couple of familiar faces and plot points from that story return here. And it's just great to have a different narrative climax that isn't winning the Pokemon League, because basically the end scene of every Pokemon game is just you alone in an empty room with a Pokemon professor saying, "Well done."
Yeah.
And, the climax of the story in Pokemon Legends Z-A is brilliant. It's spectacular. It's dramatic. It's moving. It's emotional. It's excellent. And honestly, in general, the writing just feels so much better in this game than it's been in the series for a fair while, with considered, varied characters, witty dialogue, some excellent bits of animation that bring everything to life. The city does feel alive and bustling, but even if a lot of the NPCs do, when you look closely at them in the background, they are just standing still. Obviously it's not going to compare to the dense population of like a AAA open world game running on PS5 or something, but it's the best Pokemon has felt in a long time. Obviously, I'm playing this on Switch 2, so it all runs very smoothly, and there are some nice touches of lighting and detail that I'm sure are missing on Switch 1. But even when the game gets really intense in the climax of the game's biggest battles, it's all still silky smooth, which again, treat for a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I remember just how this compares to the first Pokemon games. Just the idea of being able to see Pokemon wandering around in the wild was such a far-fetched dream 25 years ago. And that always brings me joy. And, the core mechanics of Pokemon are still as addictive as ever. I'm very surprised that I've had as great a time as I have with this game. I've 100%ed it, 60 hours.
Of course.
Obviously, because I've been so busy. Obviously, like I said, I've pre-bought the DLC because I'm an idiot. That's coming in February. I'm really looking forward to seeing what new Mega Evolutions are added in that, what new storylines we're going to have. Something Casper said to me, friend of the show, Casper, is that it feels like there's two different teams making Pokemon games now at Game Freak. The ones doing these Legends games and the ones doing the mainline games. And both teams have different ideas or different instructions of what the Pokemon experience should be and how that, can evolve. Much in the same way that Monster Hunter has the Monster Hunter Worlds, Monster Hunter Wilds games, and then the more immediate Monster Hunter Rise game. in both franchises, like, I know which ones I prefer at the moment, certainly, and I really hope that the next mainline Pokemon games really learn from what's worked so well in both the Legends games, and also what absolutely didn't work in Scarlet and Violet. And I really hope they focus on refining the quality of the core experience rather than worry about rolling out content and events to keep people playing, because it really just diminishes the single player experience of those games. The central adventure of those like Pokemon games has always, to me, been just a really wonderful, creative and personal experience. I'd like the games to feel more connected to me, personally going forward, rather than feeling like I'm diving into a murky capitalist pool. But all in all, I'm pleasantly surprised with this game. It's
Game of the year.
It's not game of the year, but it's definitely the best Pokemon game since Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm happy to have been proven at least slightly wrong in their distribution method, but it's a bit, it's still a bit grubby, but just go and wash my hands and carry on. You played anything else?